Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Legion of Chaos. I'm your host, Johnsky, and today we have two very special guests. Feel free to introduce yourselves.
You go first.
Hello, I'm Nico Skywalker, primarily a lightsaber spinner, but weeb on the side.
Hi, my name is Otaku Jedi. Unlike Nico, anime is mostly my thing, but a lightsaber spinner on the side.
Well, yeah, as the name implies, you're a weeb and you're a huge Star Wars fan.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, as me as well. I've been getting more and more into anime over the past year, and I've been really enjoying it. And that's what I wanted to talk about. Because this week, we're talking about Demon Slayer, and I wanted to start by asking, what was it that got you guys hooked to Demon Slayer?
Okay. If you want, I can tackle this one first.
Go for
Yeah.
it.
Okay. So after the first season, well, first of all, to be honest, I don't even know what like made me watch it, but I I just picked it up one day, it was there, and I was like, oh, this seems kind of interesting. So I watched the first episode, and then I watched the second one, and then the third one, and then the third one turned into the sixth one, and I was like, okay, I guess I'm pretty hooked. And then I would watch it weekly, and then I think the concept of giving the villains backstory kind of gripped me a little bit towards it. So I was just like, okay, whatever. And then the first season ended, so I was like, oh, okay, what do I do now? And unbeknownst to me, I didn't know it was based on a manga, which most are. And I was like, oh, yeah, I have Shonen Jump. And in one weekend, I devoured every chapter. I destroyed it. I couldn't put it down, and like, it was insane because there was just something about it that really, really like, because you gravitate obviously towards like every main character. I understand that, but like this was different. This was like, it made me want to actually like be vested in the characters and know what's going to happen to them, because like most shonen, the main characters don't die, but like this one was different. This
What's up,
one
Juancho?
this one was like completely different. And just like I said, like the backstory to the characters, it made you sympathize for them, and you've never like wanted to like sympathize with people, because like you're like, oh, they're the villains and blah 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 blah. But this was different. Like they gave you the whole backstory, why they turned into the demons, like what was their reasoning behind it. And then like Tanjiro being so pure of heart, he like sympathizes with them, and you don't have a lot of that with MCs usually like beat the crap out of you, and then bing bang boom, they're done.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
The side characters were really, really well done, and not to spoil anything for the next coming arcs, but even though people are constantly like going on about how the animation is fantastic and like that's the only reason it's good, I'm telling you, these next couple of arcs, I really, really feel like people are going to switch up on it.
Oh yeah, I agree. I read through the entirety of the Swordsmith Village arc, and I really loved it. I'm currently on the Hashira training arc. I think I've been enjoying the manga, and I've actually been in a similar boat where I just picked it up because I'm like, hey, people are talking about this Demon Slayer. I might like it seems I don't know what it's about, but I might as well give it a shot. And I just did, and I really, really loved it. Like I think like it was similarly to how you did, like you described it, where you get deeper and deeper. And I think Tanjiro is an interesting character. Like I personally reside well with him in the aspect of that he is a pure of heart character, and he's in a realm in which like that's not particularly the kind of mindset you want as a demon slayer. So like we see how he adjusts to this particular world where of course he kills the demons, but he, as you said, he sympathizes with them. He's there, and like he'll at least like stand there and like give them some level of respect, despite the fact that they ate a lot of people. And
Yeah.
eventually, after I finished season 1, I was able to get to season 2 plus the Mugen Train arc, because which like the dub version came out right on time for me. But then I was just like, oh, I want to read more. I want to do more of this. So that's when I got to the manga, and I've been really enjoying it. And I think, like as you said, I don't want to spoil the manga here. I think this discussion will be entirely about the anime and what's come out with the anime. But the manga, like people sleep on the manga. The story is really interesting.
Yeah.
It is. And it's one of those reads where it's like when you're reading it, you're like, dang, where would they break this up? It almost flows together so nicely. And you're like, wow, I'm just addicted. Like, I'm at the end of the manga. Like, for me, when I started Demon Slayer, like, I didn't even start the anime until it, like, finished. And I was like, okay, I guess I'll give this a try. Then I finished the first season. I'm like, I need to crack open this manga and see what this is about. And then, like, the next thing you know, I'm weekly with the manga. Was it weekly? I can't remember.
Yeah, it was
monthly
weekly.
with the manga. Yeah, I'm weekly with the manga.
Damn. So like you were actually reading it when it was still coming out, like the manga and everything. Yeah, that's hardcore. I mean, I was like by the time I started Demon Slayer, which was like last December, like as I said, like I had the anime was up to Mugen Train and started the Entertainment District. So I could watch that weekly, but then after I finished, I started reading the manga. And the manga's already finished, so like I don't have to go through the like waiting a whole week for the manga releases.
Yeah, I caught it on the tail end. So there's 205 chapters, and I think I caught it on like 203. So like the Shonen Jump app lets you know when like new ones come out, especially if like you're reading them. So I was like, oh, there's a new chapter. Oh, there's a new chapter. And then the following week I was like, there's no new chapter. Is it done? Is it it's over?
No, that's how I felt. Like, I was like, oh my gosh, like this is it? Like,
yeah.
Now I'm more and more tempted to just like as soon as the podcast ends, just drill through the rest of the manga.
I think you should. It's I like it's probably in my like top 10 mangas.
Oh yeah, I would definitely
it's definitely there.
oh,
I would definitely
definitely.
put it in terms of like isolated to just manga. I would put it in my top 10 as well.
I don't know. There's just something about it. Like I it's really hard to not like it because it's just the characters. Like each character is phenomenal in their own way. Like you have Inosuke who is just batshit crazy, but like he learns how to like be in society and like around other human beings, and he cherishes that even though he doesn't want to say that. You can tell that he would really do anything for his friends. And then you have freaking Zenitsu, who is just like freaking girl crazy, but at the same time he understands the concept of like what he's supposed to do. Like he's terrified of it. But I mean there's like no hype in all of the first season. I'm sorry, there's no hyper moment than like when he passes out and then he just wakes up, and just asleep. Oh.
No comment. No comment on Zenitsu because, as I already said before the podcast started, we're focusing on what we like, not what we hate. And like, I'm sure, like I know I've told you, Nico, that I hate Zenitsu.
Yeah.
Really? Why though?
I didn't even ask questions. I just accepted.
No. I'm actually really curious as to what.
I'll tell you later. Like I'm not. Well, honestly, like it's for simplest terms, it comes down to I'm not really into the way his character is portrayed. Like I get like the scare, like he does act scared, but I think like they overdo it with the cowardly nature. Where there comes a point I think in Entertainment District arc where I felt like at the very least he could have been a little bit more like without being knocked unconscious, still being able to like adjust despite like not being asleep or anything. Like I feel like it. Like the just him passing out and being just full on commando mode. It was just like I wish they phased out more on him going out of that and not relying on that anymore.
Okay, all right, that's fair enough. Yeah, you know what? That's what I'm gonna say. I'm just gonna say fair enough. Like
Yeah.
that's a
Like,
good critique of the character.
yeah, I don't want to. Yeah, but to back to your point, like I do think he, as you pointed out, He does demonstrate a lot of great ability, great growth and progression as a character. Even despite like as I said, like I wish there was some stuff they did, but as you pointed out, like he's trained like hell despite his cowardly nature to the point that he's able to do this, even though he doesn't like it, like instinctively and like through muscle memory and everything, he's mastered this particular skill to perfection. Great painting.
Yeah. No, I see what you mean. It's however, I think what they're doing, and I think like I see all your points, but I think how they developed him has to do specifically with his like breathing. So
Yeah.
I'm sorry, not his breathing, because like Inosuke is more like I feel this vibe. Tanjiro is more like I smell everything, and Zenitsu is more I hear everything. So like I think, and I don't know, I'm not the author. Um, I think she did a great job of like knocking this character out so much so that even if he's asleep, he can still like sense based on hearing what is happening. Um, but I do like back to your point. I do see what you mean. So
Yeah. But anyway,
and
yeah, I
who?
do think like it does a really good job developing a lot of its characters. And I yeah, I like they're obviously like everyone like I feel like it comes down to every character in Demon Slayer is someone's favorite.
Yes.
Yeah.
I love Demon Slayer characters for the fact that like they all have like this aspect of humanity that they just embody, especially when it comes to the Hashiras. It's like they their individual aspects make up the best parts of humanity to me, and I just love how like Demon Slayer. It's like, all right, these core group of people come together, and then we all succeed as a group. I just love that part of Demon Slayer.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. And I think like the way the very first season played out, what I thought was super interesting. I really liked seeing Tanjiro on his own, which so I won't spoil like the exact events in the manga, but I'll at least say like if anyone liked seeing Tanjiro on his own with Nezuko, learning new things, like you'll see a lot more of that in the Swordsmith Village arc.
Yeah. And you should be happy because there's not a lot of Zenitsu in
Yeah,
this person of
oh, I
Village.
know. Yeah, but yeah, I think it was really interesting, and seeing the Hashira was fun. Like seeing how they all present various character traits. Like it's like some of them being variations. Like I thought Rengoku was interesting because he displays a huge variation upon like a personality traits of all three, like Tanjiro, Zenitsu, and Inosuke in some sort of way. Like that they look up to him like as a big brother because like he kind of like he's aspirable like that. Like everyone sees how he is and just like how he's just an agreeable guy. He's respect like no, it's hard not to love him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
Oh,
go ahead.
Then he got turned to a donut.
I was just gonna say such a heart ablaze.
you mean set the donut aglaze?
after
Not the donut.
after he left, there was something like there was an empty feeling inside me.
I
Oh
thought you were
my.
gonna say a hole.
No, there was an empty feeling inside me.
I think the one thing that anime doesn't do for Rengoku is, and I think the second, like the movie didn't do it, and I think the second season of Demon Slayer did it, kind of to like build up on the character. But I think what they did was in the manga, you felt a lot more attached to him, especially because he is a Hashira, and you don't think anything's gonna happen to him, right? Like this guy's not gonna die. And then like when it happens, I don't think the movie did a like I got emotional because I already knew what was going to happen, right? But like seeing it, I was like, oh my god. But I think that they didn't do a good job of making it like hit home. Like obviously, if it was Tanjiro or No Scares and Nitsu, you would have been like, oh my god, I'm done with this show, right? But like Rengoku, as amazing as he was, didn't have much time to like what was it? It was like an hour and 45-minute movie, you know. Whereas if you gave it like week to week to week to week to week, and then you build it up like Tengen, you know, everybody loves Tengen because like, I mean, I can, you know, that badass moment where he comes in. I don't care that I have my hand chopped off. I'm just gonna swing my freaking sights around and like that. I feel like he was a little bit more built up and more like well received than like an hour and 45 minutes that Rengoku had, and he wasn't even really in the movie that much. Like maybe like the last 25-30 minutes of it.
Yeah, so I watched it through the episode form when they re-released the movie in episodes, and
Okay.
I thought it played out a little better. It was you know, because it's episodes. I know there are massive differences, but overall they're still virtually like the same, and for the most part, there was definitely a lot of visually appealing aspects of it, and that's the thing. Especially like there were aspects of the fight between Rengoku and Akaza that were not actually in the manga because because the studios wanted to show off, you know, their amazing special effects, so they added in a few extra things to show just how amazing and that's where like the ninth form came in, because I recall that's not actually canon to the manga. That was just a movie. That was a movie and TV only.
I don't recall. Like it's
I'm
been a
not
while.
gonna. That's so hard for me because there's some forms that you just never see in general, like from some like Demon Slayer swords, and you're like, okay.
Or like you just like you skip all the way to ninth form and you're like, wait, what forms were afterwards?
You're like,
Maybe
But,
there's
I
like a
mean-
database that says like what each thing does.
But I mean, you can say the same thing for the whatchamacallit. What's his face? Giyu? Because Giyu
Oh,
shows
yeah.
up and Giyu's just like, listen, guy. He's just talking to the audience like, listen, y'all, I know that you've never seen this form, but and Tanjiro's only gotten to 10, but I'm gonna hit you with a new one that you ain't never seen before. And he's just like, water form 11. And you're like, the fuck you mean 11?
I just love that.
Oh,
I
yeah,
love that moment.
that
I'm
was
like,
kinda
this
funny.
is a master right here. In my head, I'm just like, oh my god, this is a master.
Oh yeah, I do think that actually, like I would agree with that point entirely, Nico. Like to piggyback off that, I think the pacing does a really good job where we see how Tanjiro like progressively improves in terms of his skill set up until like yeah he's able to take out demons on his own. He's able to take former upper moons, and then eventually he comes across an actual official Kiseki, and he struggles with it, but puts up a good fight, but in the end of the day he's not enough. But then like we see just how well like this is his level, but then here's the Hashira level where he can just like it's easy.
And like that part was insane because Tanjiro was struggling,
Oh,
yeah.
struggling, and even when he chopped his head off, the dude was like, "Yeah, I'm not really dead." Meanwhile, this man just shows up and just like walks
Oh.
by him, and all of a sudden it was just like,
Oh yeah, yeah. I got your message out. I will be giving your message shortly once we get to it. Once we get a good opportunity to do it. But yeah, he gave me a message he wanted to talk about his thoughts on like the dynamics and stuff like that. But yeah, like as for this particular topic, I think to your point, like I really liked how it's paced, and I think what Demon Slayer does well is I think in terms of the overall plot and the premise of Demon Slayer, it's not necessarily about originality, but it's about execution. Like it does everything very well. Like every single plot point is done extremely well, regardless if it's an original thing or if you can find something similar off of previous manga. And I think that because I think it's important for a lot of reasons, that like what makes something good is not necessarily the idea or whether or not the idea is a new one, but how the ability to take all these ideas and make something out of it.
mm-hmm.
Yeah, storytelling is always better than sport. You can find a lot of common plot points in extremely popular movies and TV. Like Star Wars, you could find plenty of ideas and concepts that were piggybacked from other previously established things. I mean, George Lucas was heavily inspired by Japanese-based storytelling and a lot of stories that were from Japan.
Yeah, that's why Vader looks like a samurai.
Yep.
But people shit on Visions, but that's neither here nor there.
No.
So
We're not-
we're not
Visions
talking
was
about
great.
that. Visions was fantastic. I'm just gonna say
yeah.
that.
Amazing.
I fucking loved Visions. I thought it was.
I was absolutely like excited from the start because I'm thinking like, look, dude, like Star Wars, out of any single form of media, that one deserves a form of its own form of anime, because like it works, like the story structure and everything. It has the perfect recipe for an amazing anime, and I really like to see more of Visions.
Yeah.
There's a season 2 coming out, but this is a Demon Slayer thing, so let's take.
Yeah.
Demon Slayer.
I'm just like, once I start talking about Star Wars and Visions, I don't know
Yeah.
how we're gonna get
Nah.
back.
Yeah, no, like, and to kind of talk about what you were talking about, Nico, the Hashi, I think the brilliance of the Hashiras is that, just like you said, they embody so much, and there's so many. Like, there's not that many of them. There's 8, but like each one is like so different from the other one, yet they all have one common goal. And it's like you said, they were just like, hey, yo, y'all want to get together and beat up some demons? Yeah, okay, cool, let's do that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've been really intrigued by a lot of the Hashira lately, because like I've been what I found really interesting was Moichiro, because like we'll see a lot of him soon, very shortly in the anime, and like his whole backstory is really interesting. Like he's such a lovable character. Like just like Rengoku, like you can feel his pain, you can feel his struggle, and just like his uncertainty, and like the drive that dude has. Like
Honestly.
14 years old, starts training as a demon slayer, becomes a Hashira 3 months later.
Yeah, like, I mean, no, I would not be able to do that. I'm just gonna go throw that out there.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
Huh. I don't know. I would not either. Believe me, that's insane. But I mean, the drive he had, like the willingness to push himself, I thought that was just awesome. And like seeing Tanjiro trying to get better, because based off like after seeing Moichiro, after seeing how Moichiro is, like it's a really great form of storytelling, just to see like it perfectly embeds like looking up to these people that are significantly better than you, but this one guy is younger than you, and he's already light years ahead.
It's like, what? Like, okay.
So
Like,
I'm
okay.
not as good as I thought I was.
Yeah.
The one thing that I really like, the one thing that when I was hyped for season 3, I did like a trailer reaction on TikTok, and like I put it up, and everyone was like hyped for it. And then you had these you had these people, right? These people that came into my comment section, and it was like, oh, I can't wait to see Mitsuri in the bath scene. And I'm like, really? Like that? Like, I'm so hyped for the season, and that's all you think about. I'm like, come on, man. Like, I get it. Like, I'm not saying that I don't get it, but like,
Come on, man.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, there's more to it than just like that one scene. Like I've seen the scene from reading the manga, and I'm like, look, I don't need that. I mean, like I don't really care I don't care. I can take it or leave it. It's like you don't really need a scene like that. It's
like if I wanted that, I would just watch Bleach.
We're not going into that. We're not going into that whole thing.
No, we're not.
Yeah.
But yeah, like, I don't know. Like, I am excited to see her though, because I like her sword power. I think that it's, what is it? It's love breathing, right?
Love breathing.
Yeah. And it's so interesting because like it's just different from like what you would think a normal sword attack would be. And I don't know. I'm curious to see how well they do it. What I'm most curious about is how long they're going to drag it out for. Like, is it going to be the whole season? You know, like, is it going to be 24 episodes? Is it going to be 12 episodes? Is it going to be a two-parter? Because it is pretty long, but it you know, they did the entertainment district in what, 11 episodes? Was it 11 or
Really?
12?
It was only 11? I could have
I-
sworn it was more.
I think, hold on. I think entertainment.
I
We're all
honestly
like, let's
can't
check
remember.
it up. Let's look it up.
I'm like,
Go to
yeah,
your
I don't need to
computer.
watch this.
Yeah, no. It was only 10 episodes. The anime was
Really?
34 to 44.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that I didn't realize it was that short.
So that's you know, like, that to me is a question. Like, are they going to lengthen it out for 24 episodes to build up, you know, not just the characters but like the storyline, or are they going to like condense it, cut out some stuff, and then focus on the following arc in, you know, the next part? Which I don't know. I mean, I think, in my opinion, I think they're going to do that because you're going to have these Inosuke and Zenitsu stands who are going to be like, they're going to feel some type of way about not having their main characters be there, you know?
Mm.
So, and obviously they're in the following arc, but I don't know. I don't know what they're going to do. I'm super curious to see how many episodes
Yeah.
we're going to get.
I will say that I do think, yeah, like obviously like some people who are just like like just love Inosuke and Zenitsu, yeah, they're not part of the next storyline, but they will, yeah, they are next one. Sometimes like it's a little break, just like we get more focus on the main character. I don't know. I
I'm a
enjoyed
little
that.
upset.
What's up, Kakashi? And Kakashi has entered.
Hello, Kakashi.
Hello.
As you are usually late. Hello.
Oh, it's even funnier when you realize that's his actual name. Like, and he does do this very regularly. Assuming he's not dead. I mean, yeah, he's muted, but you know.
Hello,
I mean,
everyone. I'm the
Oh, there he
co-host
is.
here. I apologize. I'm late.
No,
Um,
you're good.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we've just been talking about Demon Slayer and just like our thoughts and what we enjoyed about it. Just like you feel free to pitch in on like what got you into Demon Slayer, like what you enjoy about it, because eventually Abba hopefully will come on and he's here to hate on Demon Slayer.
Well,
let you know.
Nico. This is for you, Nico.
Abby's pretty cool. What
For
I'll say
me,
about
oh,
Demon
you
Slayer
shouldn't
is I've
have.
been on it
I'll
since
say my
it
advice.
I've really been on Demon Slayer since it started. When it came out, I read some of it, and I was like, "Damn, this is straight fire, right?"
Yeah.
And one of the most interesting things about it is that it has a linear story that is very short. It's about 23 volumes long, which makes it a brilliant tale because it's compressed and condensed much, much farther than most other manga have been, which try to lengthen their life to the point at which they get gains. But this is very much a more narratively driven novel in which they're not particularly interested in big flashy scenes, despite being in the shonen category, but more interested in telling a story, which a lot of the more hit mangas currently are doing, is that they're telling more of a story than they used to, which is very much appreciated.
Yeah, absolutely.
Agreed.
Like as I said earlier, I think what makes Demon Slayer great is not necessarily the originality with its ideas or concepts, but the fact that it takes this all together and it creates a great story out of it. Like I think people will say that it's another generic and shonen about this one particular thing, but I like to point out that ideas alone are not what makes something great. What also makes something great is how it's executed and how it's structured. Like how you take what you make out of the ideas you have at hand. But yeah, I think overall I'm looking forward to the rest of the manga because I've finished Swordsmith Village and I'm on the Hashira training. I'm really enjoying it. I don't want to get as I said to Otaku and Nico, we're not going to talk specifically about the manga from the chapters after Entertainment District because we don't want to spoil it for anyone. but I will say that like it gets really interesting throughout the remainder of the manga. He,
Oh yeah.
he might have
Very
his
interesting.
connection might be faulty. He'll reconnect.
No, he had to go fight somebody. We get it. He used what was it? Kawimata no Jutsu. No. But to touch on Kakashi's point, that's actually a brilliant point. That like it even though you're 100% right, even though the anime has a lot of clashy, explosive, amazing like scenes, it is very like narrative driven. And I had mentioned before that like it's one of the only ones that I can think of off the top of my head that gives you the story about everyone. Obviously, like One Piece does that, but like it gives you a story about like every character, no matter who it is you're talking about. And it's one of those ones that like in the last one, in the entertainment district arc, you see why he became a demon. And even though for the last like 4 episodes they've been doing everything they could to like kill him, you still understand why he did it. Like he's trying to protect his sister, and then she gets burned, and then
Yeah.
like he like sacrifices himself, and then they meet the demon, and boom, they become demons. But like there was a reason for him to do it. It wasn't just like I got bit and I became a demon. Ha ha ha. Like it was very well done in my opinion.
I agree. Everything is very, and as you said, and I brought it, everything is very narratively driven, and every single one of the characters is very fleshed out. There's rarely a character that we don't know the motivations for. Even when it comes to the higher level demons, no spoilers, every single one of them, with the exclusion of one, is a demon by, just not really by circumstance, but because they chose to further their goals, right? Which is something that we see this dynamic between I furthered my goals by becoming a demon, and then I lost myself, right? And I completely forgot about my goals, right?
Yeah.
Which appears to be a concurrent theme.
It's really
That's what I love
interesting,
about
as you pointed
Tanjiro.
out.
That's what you love about Tanjiro?
Absolutely.
Yeah, like he brings like that like humanity back to them before their final moments. He's like, they almost like his purity brings them back to being like a human again. It's like, oh my god,
Well, it's
Oh,
a
yeah.
very
he used to be a
Naruto-esque,
good person.
like super villain flashback thing. If you guys remember from Naruto, that seemed to happen every single time Naruto fought somebody. It was like, and I remembered myself. Don't cause war, Naruto. And Naruto was like, okay, but like I'm just gonna go get the jank ass jutsu and nuclear question people into saying we're not gonna.
I have to say, like, I feel like the difference between like Naruto and Demon Slayer is, even though you're right, like when he fought Pain, it's like, let's have a 15 episode flashback on like how he became who he was. I didn't care, like I love Nagato. I thought he was a great character. I thought the Pain arc was like one of the best arcs of like the whole series. It was so well done. And then he's like, it's because of this book, and then it just goes back and we meet Jiraiya, and then blah blah blah. And it's like in Demon Slayer, it's like they flush it out in one episode, maybe like 20 minutes, not even, and you're vested. You're like, oh, all right, I understand why you did what you did.
It's straight to the point.
Yeah,
like
absolutely. You're not so lost in the backstory that the prompt gets completely muddled. I agree.
Yeah.
But they
that's
do keep
definitely
the
one
same
benefit of it.
general theme of that the ends, oftentimes with these characters, that most of the characters have had these Machiavellian means, right? That the ends justify the means of whatever they're doing, and so they become a demon to further those means, right? And we see later on that, well, the ends didn't justify the means, right? And that they lost themselves.
Yeah, which is pretty obvious when you choose to turn to a demon to fulfill your further goals. Like, it's probably like rule number 1 about life: don't turn into a demon just so that you can fulfill these unfinished goals of yours.
Yeah, exactly. Like,
But
one of the demons, I'm not going to say who they are, but one of the demons like became a demon so that he could become like the ultimate fighter. Like, he succeeded in that because he's immortal. right? He can do and learn whatever he needs to and train however he needs to. But he lost himself in that, right? And he forgot why he wanted to become the ultimate fighter, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I was
Well,
gonna
I
touch on that.
definitely interesting.
Like it's just like you said, like Akuza, he in the Mugen Train, he was literally just sitting there telling Rengoku, like, listen, dude, you're amazing. Let me make you a demon. It wasn't like you are gonna kill, like he was really toying with him the whole time, and he was just kind of like, hey, listen, like I think that this fight is amazing, and then we can both train and then we can both be stronger. And it's just like you said, John, no one really says to themselves, listen, you're gonna have to die and come back, and then you can do whatever you want. Meanwhile, that's literally his mentality. He's like, I can do anything. Like, look, you just chopped off my arm and I just grew one back instantly. You can't do that. But if you become a demon, like his pitch was great.
Yeah.
Well, I wouldn't
Intrusive
say that
thoughts
Akaza
almost
was
won.
toying with Rengoku. I believe that fight was very, very serious. Which you'll understand when you delve into Akaza's backstory.
Yeah,
in
yeah,
The
yeah.
manga.
Yeah.
He will not take a fight unseriously. I would say it's a very interesting dynamic between the two because it really does set the stage for Rengoku being one of the greatest Hashira, right? He's
Yeah.
for those who have read the manga, he's literally fighting an uphill battle and still winning. Or what I would say an impossible battle, and yet still very much coming close to a tie.
Mhm.
It's
Yeah.
definitely an interesting dynamic between the two characters when we see that they both have like symbolisms of wanting to be the best to protect others, and yet in wanting to become the greatest they can. Like we saw from Rengoku, he wanted to become the greatest to prove his father wrong, right? And even then, and to make his father proud. But even then, even in his last moments, he simply couldn't do it. Which is a shame for his character, but also it shows a likeness to Akaza himself, right? For the means of which he became a demon.
Yeah. And yeah, I do think Akusa does get really interesting. It's kind of like, I don't know if this is a good comparison, but it was kind of like the Negan effect, where if you ever watched Walking Dead or read the comics, like Negan comes in, he kills a beloved character, but then over the course of the series, you start to see him more humanized, and you even see his backstory. You see a lot of redeemable qualities. Hell, there are like extremely similar qualities because like they're both, despite being evil, they are actually really respectful to women because you I feel like some like it's an unusual parallel where I think holy shit, Akaza is basically like Negan. And I don't think anyone ever thought of that in a sentence, but like I'm not saying like I'm not saying it's perfect here. I'm not saying it's perfect, but but like my point is like you see like he kills off a beloved character, but then he becomes fleshed out and you realize there's a much more human side to him than just him killing the beloved character.
For sure.
Sup, Abba?
Well,
Yo.
it's interesting because there, as much as we say that, oh, there's so much to Akaza, we got like 2 panels of backstory, and then like, well, more than 2 panels, but we got just a little bit of backstory, and then we got some other things from other demons talking about Akaza, and then we have the author's notes on Akaza, and that's like it.
Yeah. But I think my point is like given like what we are given, like we see like qualities like he refuses to kill women, and I believe am I correct to say that, like he mostly goes for like criminals and stuff like that? Or is it like does he only go for target criminals when does he only consume criminals, or is it just like anyone except women?
What's the topic
Akaza
of conversation
typically
at the moment?
didn't consume blood at all.
Huh?
We're talking about Akaza.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, Akaza
Cool.
typically didn't like kill people at all, which is like one of those major misconceptions that power skillers have. And they're like, oh, well, Akaza would have gotten so much stronger before Giyu and Tanjiro beat him. It's like, but it's not his thing to kill people and consume
Yeah.
them.
Well, yeah. In fact,
He doesn't
like that's
hunger like the rest of the demons.
and
That's one of his primary
yeah.
traits.
Well, that's also the thing because Doma became a demon long after Akaza, but he did grow more powerful because like he was actively consuming people, especially women, and like that. And
Dude
you
was
see,
just a really, really bad person in general.
Yeah.
That's why I said out of the big 3, there's one of them that did not need to be a demon, right?
oh yeah,
He's just a bad dude.
oh yeah,
Even before he was a demon, he did all that stuff that we found out about in Shinobu's backstory, right? That was before. So like, he's just a bad dude. It's not even
Yeah.
the fact that he's a demon; it's the fact that he's just a bad guy.
But yeah, let's like move off for that because we're going into we're
Yeah,
dangerously
we're coming a little
approaching.
bit ahead of the anime. There.
I'm like, guys. No, slow down. You're going too far.
Sorry. But yeah,
Just like-
but Abba. Now that Abba's joined, who's the certified Demon Slayer hater, he can go on about what he doesn't like about Demon Slayer.
All right, I'm
Let's
ready.
not get it twisted. I am not a Demon Slayer hater. Do not be spreading misinformation about me. I said I was going to be trashing Demon Slayer.
There actually is a
Because-
big difference. There is a big difference.
Look, I promise to be like to only focus on things I like. He didn't.
Mhm. I will not promise to focus on things I like, mostly because there's
Okay.
nothing to focus on. I'm joking, but
Damn.
basically, my the reason I like to trash Demon Slayer, specifically because is specifically because Johnsky trashes Bleach, and the reason I trash Demon Slayer
Thank you,
is
Abba.
because there's
Thank
kind
you.
of a fallacy to trash Bleach but not trash Demon Slayer, seeing as Demon Slayer, you can see quite glaring similarities between the general plot structure, at least of like the first arc, at least.
Yeah, no, I guess.
So-
And the power system, and like the demons, and like and like the main villain. Well, no, Michael Jackson's not really like Isaac.
Muzan and Aizen are not the same thing. Do not make that equivalence, please.
Okay, listen, bro.
I mean, they
Muzan's
both
got
wear
the
white.
moves. Eisen pulls the moves. It's the same shit, I promise.
I mean, like considering Kakashi is one of the biggest Bleach fans out there, and he feels offended by me comparing
Listen,
Aizen
back
to
up,
Palpatine. I don't feel like you're in a safe territory to
No.
compare Demon Slayer to Bleach.
Back up. Muzan plays checkers, okay? Aizen plays three-dimensional chess. Let's not make that
You mean fourth
that
dimensional
equivalency.
chess? Chess is already in 3 dimensions, my friend.
Exactly. I'm thinking of actual board games rather than just making stuff up to hyperbolize Aizen's like intelligence,
Yeah, he
which
plays
Aizen
fourth-dimensional chess.
is a smart mofo, but like. So no, I don't hold on. I am not a Demon Slayer hater. I think Demon Slayer is a good anime. Let's not get that twisted. I don't know what Johnsky has been spreading around about me. But
You were
I'm just
trashing
saying-
Demon Slayer all last week.
Nah, bro.
I was
Pretty sure
saying
that was all
what I was
Japanese.
saying was that
Slayer
Demon Slayer is
slander?
essentially Bleach but worse.
See, you just did it again.
That's not trashing it. That's
Yes,
that's
it is!
saying objectively that Demon Slayer is
You're not
like not as good as Bleach.
Okay, all right,
Okay.
and I'm pretty sure we can all agree that I like Bleach more than Demon Slayer. I'll go on record and say that. But what is your detest, I guess, for Demon Slayer?
Well,
I
hold
mean-
on. I just want to put on a point real quick. Bleach, yes, is better than Demon Slayer. Yeah, but it's also like 3 times longer. So like when you try to talk about like the story, of course the story has more growth because it's triple the length.
Well, sure,
now, that's
yeah.
not always the case. Some stories are very, very poorly written and incredibly long. Look at Dragon Ball. It's written like garbage and it exists for like way too long, right? But there are some series that are genuinely good with amazing writers, like Hunter x Hunter, which are pretty decently long, even without, being written for a
Nico.
long time.
No, that just
Or
hurt a
JoJo,
little
which
bit.
is absurdly long, which is
I will
incredibly
be
good.
AFK for 5 minutes. Do give me a second.
It's simply the
Right.
problem of that you have too many years of writing with a good writer, right? A fantastic writer, versus a series that has a very good writer but was intentionally limited in scope by editors to make it shorter, right? And so when we talk about the writing, we have to take that into consideration. Originally, the writing for Demon Slayer was supposed to have like Dracula in it, and there were supposed to be different demons for different countries, and like part of the plot was like traveling around and killing them, which is basically like Castlevania Bleach mashup.
I really would love that though.
Well, I am very appreciative. One of the things I really do like about Demon Slayer is that it ended, and that the author tied up the ends in the epilogue, right? And they said,
Yeah,
"Yeah,
that's
nope,
fair.
there can't be any other series unless you go back in time. It doesn't happen. Unless you go to the future."
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, that's fair. And I do feel like, yeah, I think there's obviously potential for more Demon Slayer, but I think the writer obviously wanted to quit while they were ahead. Like, because, like, they end the series with a bang. Don't try to drag out the series after this ending. Like, just end it. Make it, like, like they.
Boruto. I'm sorry. I had a cough.
All right, hold on. Boruto's actually kind of fire right now.
Boruto the manga is great.
Yeah, the manga.
I'll go on record and say that.
Boruto's
the
kind
show-
of straight fire right now.
The show, like, oh,
I have not bothered to watch the show. I'm not gonna lie. I've not bothered to watch the show.
Well, I don't think you said you haven't really watched much of the actual like anime of Bleach, only the manga.
No, I haven't even watched the. I have barely watched the anime of Bleach too. Like
oh.
so, like when I talk about, I haven't even watched this show yet. Yeah, no, I probably read it, but I haven't watched it.
Well, yeah, I know I know you've read it because like it's one of your favorite mangas.
I also have like the entire thing on the shelf above me. So
Damn.
He's like, it's right here.
What happened?
I know. Here it is.
No, I just bought all the books and then I just read them.
He's like, these are my ladies.
Well, that's just one of 17 different shelves you have of comics and manga.
Yeah.
Like I've seen your video. You went through a whole video on TikTok of just every single.
Oh yeah, so let's talk about that for a second. Somebody said I don't read comics, so I made a video of just unshelving just a shelf of fucking comics.
Mm-mm.
Nah, bro, I just bought these. This hold on, give me a second here. Let me find this.
Let me flex
This
on you.
$300. Nah, bro, this $300 silk cover. I bought that because I don't read comics. The $700 original Iron Fist comic from 1974.
What?
Nah, bro. I totally bought that because I don't read comics.
You
Right?
need to make a video telling Soups about comics. What?
Oh, oh my god. Oh, Soups.
Sorry,
I
I didn't.
Oh,
mean to
I
get
mean, I
carried
made a
away
whole
there.
I don't
fucking.
know Soups well
it's-
enough to tell him off.
It's not even just the comics, but also like he was making those outlandish opinion takes about Star Wars. I'm like, dude, I better read like if you want content to like the one you're talking about, like it's not connected to the Skywalker saga, read High Republic.
I forgot
Like it
about
exists and it's really good. Like it's one of the best pieces of Star Wars content I've ever picked up in like
got the
years, and that's not to
9.8 cover, too.
disrespect. Like
Okay,
and
I've
that-
returned.
What's up? But like that's not to. But like High
Never
Republic
mind. Hold
has-
on.
Oh.
Okay.
But like High Republic, when I say that with High Republic, that's not to disrespect stuff like the Mandalorian, and but like
Okay, sorry, I'm
High
back.
Republic's just that good, and like he could go read
that.
High
Better not
Republic or something.
disrespect the
But, yeah.
Mandalorian.
What are we talking about?
We were going on a bit of a
Apparently,
rant.
John is
Sorry about
disrespecting the
Soups, I don't-
Mandalorian. This is...
Yeah.
No,
So yeah, I was
I
just
said no.
talking
I'm
about the
just
High Republic.
saying-
I don't remember
no,
that in
I'm just
Demon
saying-
Slayer.
I'm just saying the High Republic is one of the best pieces of Star Wars content that I've ever picked up in years. Like I love the Mandalorian. It's one of my it's my
I'm gonna
absolute
say
favorite
something
Star Wars
hella
show.
controversial though. The High Republic, if it was allowed to be written in the way the Mandalorian is, in which it's the film's designation doesn't have to dance around children reading it, would be better than the Mandalorian. The problem is that the High Republic has to dance around both children and adults reading it. So a lot
That's
of things
fair.
are worded in a way of which children won't understand what they're meaning, or will understand the meaning differently than an adult will, but they'll still get the same conclusion. Right?
Like
what's their
in the
name
same
and what's
way,
their
like-
way disappearing and spending time together during the fireworks ceremony.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I
I would.
definitely read that a different way than an 8-year-old would, right?
Yeah. Me too. Like. Well,
That's
they
the problem,
event.
is they can't
Yeah.
use this elaborate narrative prose that they could with the Mandalorian in a visual media.
So yeah, I think but back to Demon Slayer, yeah, because I don't want to go on a full
Yes.
rant. Yeah, I think it is important to like we, because we went a whole like 5-minute rant. Yeah, I think like to your point. If any of you guys have anything else to say, there is a particular point that one of my friends wanted, like he isn't able to make it on the podcast, but he had he gave me like a notepad of like what he thought about it. So if you guys have already wrapped up what you wanted to say about it, I can go ahead and read what one of my friends sent me for his take on Demon Slayer.
Yeah, I'm good.
absolutely.
Okay, so here it goes. Media loves siblings. I love my little sister, and yet I seriously struggle to find media that accurately represents our dynamic. Siblings and media always struggle, fight, and seem to dislike each other, even to a small degree, and it always bothered me. I know it's realistic, but I could never relate. Enter Demon Slayer. Tanjiro and Nezuko are a couple of siblings who just genuinely enjoy being around each other and protect one another. The only time they fight is during Nezuko's occasional one-sided anger, which I can relate to as when my sister went through her emotional stage where she'd yell a lot about nothing, and I just tried and calm her down. So I don't care about any
Uh-oh.
negativity.
Demon Slayer is a metaphor for puberty confirmed.
So I don't care about any negativity around Nezuko being underused or anything, because selfish as it may be to say, it has meaning for me. That's
Okay.
yeah, that was his take. He enjoys
they
like
do
he
have
really
a very interesting dynamic between the characters in which they really do express the fact that like everyone is part or like is willing to work together, except for Sonobe because Sonobe's like nah, bro. But
that's
everyone
facts.
else is willing to work with everyone else in a very we're all in this together and group dynamic meaning way, which is kind of interesting because it makes sense if you're fighting against beings with innately incredibly enhanced speed, strength, durability, things like that, and then you're just like a normal human that can like breathe really damn well. You're sitting there like, yeah, I could use another 5 dudes right now.
Yeah.
Like, help me, please.
My favorite part about the verse is that there are canonically guns, but nobody uses them except Genya.
Yep. Yep.
Bro, this is like right before World War II, right? I'd be like, or no, it's right before the First World War. I'd be racking that pump shotgun.
I did not
Okay,
realize
move
Demon
on.
Slayer was
Let's
as
go.
like recently chronologically as it was. I thought it was like feudal Japan or something.
No, it's Taisho era, so they have trains and guns and things like that.
Yeah.
In the light,
Ah,
in his little offshot manga, the first demon that Mitsuri and Rengoku run into together is this demon that can literally summon guns.
Oh yeah, I do remember that. Yeah.
So
Makes sense.
yeah, they exist. Of course, it tells us that Rengoku's faster than a bullet, but whatever. It really is a good it really is a good offshot. But like the guy's just summoning guns out of nowhere. So it is kind of funny that they include guns in the verse, but then don't use them.
I feel like that would be interesting if you can make
I mean, like-
Nichiren bullets, or
I mean, them swords are the only things that can hurt the demons, right?
yeah.
They're the only things that can permanently kill the demon, right? But
Yeah.
like, I'm just saying, if you kneecap them twice with a shotgun and then go with the sword, I don't know, man. Like, I feel like there are a lot of ways to combat these demons that we're not using right now, like the spread on one of them things.
Yeah, just aim
not
low
very
and then
well.
kill him with the sword.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I think well, it's still going to be extremely.
Hey, bro, got the strap.
I
All
said,
right,
I
you ready,
got-
Nico? Let's go.
Where's it at? I got.
Bro has it on him.
So what? Essentially, what is it that he is he like trying to talk about, like the dynamic of siblings?
I
or-
think like the dynamic, he feels like it's something he connected to the most personally compared to other sibling dynamics that he's seen in media. Like I think it is a fair take. Like we see just how much they care about each other, and like they do have each other's back. It's always like it's a thing where they at the end of the day they do care about each other. They do everything they can to protect one another. It was really interesting, seeing for the first time Nezuko turn to a demon, but she still tries to protect Tanjiro. Like that, you
Yeah.
can see that there's still she still remembers the human side of her, and I think that's where it contributes to the pacing of how we see eventually that all these demons do have a human side, and they don't just immediately forget it, but most of them lose track of what their true intentions were, and they go straying in the wrong direction. But Nezuko, with the help of guidance and with the fact that Tanjiro was there to help her, like she kept her humanity.
Even though I want to take note that, to my memory, now it's entirely possible that I am incorrect with this. I have not seen Demon Slayer in a long bit, and I don't remember that much from it. Of course, if someone reminds me of something, I will remember it. But to my knowledge, Nezuko was really the only like main like demon with that is a major character in the story that's like just batshit feral. So the idea that it's the whole she still remembers the human side of her, but she's still like absolutely feral. In contrast to most other demons being like, I'm gonna kill you or whatever. I don't know.
Yeah,
They're
more
weird.
lucid.
Yeah.
Well, also,
I
it's the fact that Urla Kodaki put spells on there at the beginning of the manga. If you guys remember when she was in the hot. Yeah, I know. Demon Slayers have magic, and then it was never mentioned again. But Urla Kodaki puts her like in a trance and does some magic stuff to make her believe.
I'm just saying they wouldn't have done it if it was Bleach.
in the anime, in the dub version, Urakodaki, if I said that right, I forget the name. Said that she was under a hypnotic suggestion. I don't know if that's also what it says in the manga, but that's what it said in the English dub of the anime. I think that would make a little bit more sense. Like, oh, she was hypnotized. And
yeah, that's what I think. That's what it was. Like for those 2 years that Tanjiro was training, he just like kept her in a hypnosis state, telling her that like humans are good, humans are your friend, don't attack humans.
yeah.
I do remember they said that. But I feel like if someone had said, you know, like
she would see humans as her family or something.
yeah, something like that, like don't attack humans. But I really feel like if they had said, oh yeah, Urokodaki used magic, you know, it wouldn't be as received as well. Like
Yeah.
as maybe what they said. You know, they kept her in a hypnosis state, et cetera, et cetera, et
And
cetera.
I think there's aspects of like she has moments, especially early on with Lady Tamayo, where like she's a demon, but she's still the effect still works, and she sees her the same way as she sees humans.
Yeah.
Like show a heavy indication where it's not necessarily that you're physically a human, but like she sees people who have their humanity and and she cares for anyone who keeps their humanity in general. And like Lady Tamayo especially shows that, you know, demons aren't innately evil just because they're demons. It's just that most of them lose track of what their goal, what their true purpose was, and they just decide, you know what, I'm going to get more powerful and keep eating people. But she learned how to keep it. She learned how to keep it in moderation, not have to kill people for doing this. She's fought her temptations, which I think is also why you see moments of Nezuko being ferals, because she's still a fairly recent demon, and she's actively trying to resist the urges, whereas all the other demons have given into the urges. So it's not necessarily as big of a deal for them to not go feral when they're already given into their temptations.
Right. Well, another thing I'll add on to that is that we see consistently that the lower level demons have very little thought.
Yeah.
At high level demons oftentimes have a large amount of thought or sort of intelligence to them. So it's oftentimes one of those things where we could very easily presume that in order to achieve so-called sentience again, that you have to consume a certain amount. But it's a very weird designation of which there is an inconsistency there on who is sentient as a demon and who isn't, right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Because we know the hand demon was sentient, but he also consumed a ton of trainees, but also wasn't jank powerful. But likewise, we know that some of the demons that have consumed a lot of people, like the twin duo, or I'm sorry, the tri duo that was in the city that were stealing girls in the second arc,
Oh yeah.
weren't sentient, right?
Mm.
So who knows? You know, it's just very inconsistent.
Yeah, I think it's definitely inconsistent. I think as I said, like there's a slight explanation where they've either like they aren't as in tune with their abilities as like they haven't been doing it for as long. Like maybe if they were around longer, they would eventually regain their sense of self and just have
For sure.
be conscious. but like it's a point that's never truly explained to full depth. But I don't think that takes away from the series as a whole, because like it's like, okay, like they're demons, and some of them are just brutally killing people. So I like, whether or not they're doing it intentionally or that they're just out of control, like it's almost the same thing in a lot of cases.
Absolutely.
But yeah.
And to talk about Demon Slayer a little bit more, Abba talked about how it's kind of in line with Bleach. What I would say to refute that is that Bleach's first arc is very much like that until he gets ambushed by Byakuga and Renji, right? You kind of settle into this pace of, okay, we get an alarm, they go fight demons like it's Evangelion, and then we get back to like going to school or whatever, right? Demon Slayer takes that core block that was very enjoyable. It wasn't entirely like the meaning of Bleach, but it was very enjoyable to watch, right? It takes that core block and it makes it its own. It takes that core block and formula and it makes it its own narrative, right? Because as much as I do like how Bleach went, I would have simply enjoyed a show where we learned about new powers and only fighting these hollows, right? With Rukia. So it would have been quite a bit of fun, right? To just see that from Bleach, but we fortunately got that in Demon Slayer instead.
Yeah, absolutely. So, anyone have any final thoughts before I end the podcast? I think we're going to wrap up soon.
You all been going for an hour.
I just wanted to know what the Demon Slayer hate was. I was still on that train.
Yeah, I didn't even hear a Demon Slayer slander. Like I was ready for it too.
All I heard was
Yeah, John.
I was expecting ABBA. I was fully expecting you to start slandering it.
No, I said I'd trash it, but in the way that like I'm just like I'm less of making fun of the show and more of Johnsky.
You know, I can get behind that. Obviously.
Me too.
Because he likes to
Totally.
suck Demon Slayer's dick, even though it's like it's quite plot wise in line with Bleach, and which is a show that he absolutely despises because he's
Not
going
today.
through this little non-conforming
Today,
phase.
he said something positive about Bleach on TikTok.
Yep.
I'm gonna
Yes,
save
I
it.
saw
I'm gonna
that.
save the video just in case he takes it down. Okay, and I will cherish it forever.
Oh my god, yeah.
Oh,
I
bro,
have
I've already sent it out to like 10 people, so to make sure if he deletes it, they can still mass produce it.
Like we got him.
We got him. What was I gonna say?
4K, motherfucker.
I guess I don't know. I guess for me to wrap up, like I'm very excited for it, for like the rest of the series. I mean, everyone in here has read the manga, so we all know like how it ends. I mean, except for you, Johnsky, but you're on your way.
Well, I'm most of the way.
Yeah, you're on your way. You're gonna see amazing things from these characters, from every single one of them, to be honest. And you're gonna see things that like you didn't even think like are gonna happen, and they'll happen, and you'll just you'll be taken back in good and bad. But I'm super excited. I'm excited to see what they do. I'm excited to see, like, even though people trash the animation, because just like Kakashi said, like it's not driven by the clashy fights, it's narrative driven. I'm super excited to see how they pull in people with this arc, especially with the fighting, because I can honestly say that the entertainment district, it pulls you in not just by the narrative, but also with everything that happens in that final fight.
It's such a beautiful arc too, just in general.
This coming
Especially
one,
way
or
they-
the entertainment?
the
one?
entertainment district. Like it was so beautiful to just sit there and see everything. I'm like, oh my god, come on.
So yeah, I've definitely got a lot of reading to do after this podcast.
Yes.
So anyway, guys, like it was great having you guys on here. Glad for everyone appreciate everyone who watched this, and see you next week. And like anyone else just have any final last second thoughts?
Record-shattering 4 people.
Thank you
Hey,
to
man.
everyone except Ghostface Sky. Yep.
Yeah.
That's all I gotta say.
All right.
And if you go on TikTok, you'll see this wonderful thing. Look at this. Look at this. Saying something
All right.
positive about
We're-
Bleach. Look at that.
We're ending. No, we're ending the live now. All right, everyone.
Oh.
I hope to see you
I
next
see
week.